In 2 years as head coach of the Falcons, Norb Hecker has learned the hard way that the margin between victory and defeat is indeed very small. This was nowhere more evident than in the Falcons' '67 season. There was the freak turn of events that cost Atlanta a victory against the Washington Redskins. There were the fingertip receptions that were almost, but not quite. There were the sure catches that should have been, but were not. There were the penalties that turned touchdowns into nightmares. And there were the near interceptions that might have changed fortunes from bad to good. Instead, Coach Hecker's preseason prediction came true. The Falcons' one-loss record did not improve, but they gained valuable experience which would not show on the scoreboard. From the opening game of the season, however, it was clear that Atlanta would be a challenge to every team it faced, and they proved this against the powerful Baltimore Colts. The Falcons' Ron Smith electrified a partisan Colt crowd when he sped 99 yards with a kickoff to tie the score early in the game. The Colts were stunned and rudely awakened by Smith's touchdown. Unitas and company proceeded to steamroll to a 31-7 halftime lead, and the Falcons knew they were in for a long season. But the power of recuperation, the ability to come back into contention, was to be a Falcon trademark, as they outscored Baltimore 24-7 in the second half. Late in the game, it was 38-31, and Atlanta was driving for the tying touchdown when disaster struck. Key plays would cost the Falcons other potential victories, as this interception cost them on opening day, and Coach Hecker knew that the next 13 weeks would be just as tough. Between the initial and final game of the season, however, cameos of excellence appeared. Number 26, Billy Lothridge, gave the Falcons their first league champion as he led the NFL in punting, and in the process took Atlanta out of many tight spots. Junior Coffey gained over 700 yards rushing for the second consecutive year and was voted the Falcons' most valuable player. Coffey, number 34, has all the attributes of a superior runner. Raw power, quickness in getting out of the backfield, speed once through a hole, the ability to remain on his feet until the last possible moment, and most important, that undefinable instinct which characterizes all superior athletes. Coffey was used as a receiver as well and was no less effective, especially in the fine art of using his blockers after a screen pass. Finally, Coffey epitomized the youthful drive and determination of the Falcons, never quitting, never letting up, giving Atlanta hope for the future. Tommy Nobis was no less of a promise for the future. Number 60 became Atlanta's first All-Pro in spite of his competition at middle linebacker from stars like Butkus and Nitsky. Novus was once again the cornerstone of the Falcons' defense, the boy with his fingers in the dike, holding back the surge of power from the other side of the line. When the Falcon defense was at its best, Novus was always somewhere in the scramble. When he didn't make the tackle, he removed linemen as well as setbacks from the action. But Novus's main job was to get the man with the ball, and this he did as well, if not better, than anyone in the league. Like Marshall Dillon, Tommy Novus always got his man. Quarterback Randy Johnson deserves credit for his 1967 performance. Lining up behind 5 different offensive lines, ignoring an agonizing stomach injury, he managed to complete close to 50% of his passes, and he threw both long and short with accuracy. Johnson had the ability to avoid on-rushing linemen and, when possible, find the open man. If no one was clear, he could scramble out of the pocket for the important first down. This was reflected in the unusual fact that Johnson was the second leading ground gainer on the team. Johnson and substitute Terry Knopfsinger had many different receivers to throw to in '67. There was number 85, Billy Martin, at tight end. There was number 28, Ray Ogden, who had surprising moves for his 6'5" height. Was high-stepping number 44, Jerry Simmons, the third-year end from Bethune-Cookman College, whose hands and speed make him a promising deep threat for the future. At age 33, Tommy McDonald is no longer a youthful rookie, but you would never know it by his play. Number 8 once again exhibited the free-spirited style that has become his personal trademark, and even at 33, he can still outrun a defensive back on his way to a touchdown. It takes 3 elements, however, to make a passing attack: the quarterback, the receiver, and pass protection. The Falcons put all 3 together in their best aerial show of the year against the 49ers. The offensive line gave Johnson the time he needed to find his receivers. Simon, Cupp, Talbert, Linden, Sandeman, and Marchaleski. These were the men who allowed Johnson to have his best day of the season, completing 14 passes for 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. successful onside kick in the third quarter gave Atlanta the ball. Johnson and his receivers continued to sparkle. In the second half alone, he completed 10 of 18 passes for 249 yards, and it brought the Falcons back to within 6 points at 34-28, when an interception ended the hope of a victory. Once again, Atlanta had come ever so close, only to be stopped by one key play. Through it all, the Falcons received more than their share of hard knocks. But they could also dish it out, and they did. Their defense was a band of gang-tackling hunters who decided that many could do a job better than one. There was Chuck Zeminski, number 77, at defensive tackle. Number 70, newcomer Jim Norton alternated at tackle and end and was outstanding at either position. Number 88, defensive end Sam Williams, gave the defense veteran experience in his 9th year of play. Number 81, rookie Bo Wood, filled in at the end due to an injury-ridden lineup which constantly changed. Along with the incomparable Tommy Novus, backing up the line were number 52, Marion Rushing. And number 55, Ralph Heck, who capably filled the void left by the retirements of Larry Morris and Bill Jobko. The secondary was comprised of a potpourri of rookies and veterans. Number 49, Floyd Hudlow, became a regular in his initial season. Lee Callan, number 22, had 3 interceptions and punished the receiver even when he failed to get the ball. Second-year safety Bob Regal, number 20, was often seen blitzing up the middle with a firm grasp on the opposing quarterback. But the brightest light in the Falcons secondary was a second-year man from Norfolk State, number 36, Ken Reeves. Reeves, in his first year as a regular, tied for 3rd among NFL pass stealers with 7. Reeves' daring, gambling style of defense excited the fans, scared the coaches, and made the Falcon flap his wings. The Falcons flew to New Orleans to meet the Saints in what will certainly become one of the biggest rivalries in pro football. The Falcons are one of 15 out of 16 teams that fly the friendly skies of United. The Sugar Bowl was filled with pageantry and with 83,000 fans on Sunday, November 26, anticipating the Battle of the South between the Falcons and the Saints. They were not disappointed. In the first quarter, a scoreless period except for Saints' field goal, Atlanta's defense completely contained the Saints' rushing attack. In the second quarter, Atlanta slowly but surely mounted what looked like an unbeatable advantage. The running of Perry Lee Dunn, Ron Rector, and Junior Coffey produced a 7-3 lead. Everything was going right for the Falcons. It became 14-3 when an option pass by Dunn and a spectacular juggling catch by McDonald succeeded. A freak play gave Atlanta the ball again when Callan's jarring tackle knocked the ball into the arms of Jerry Richardson. Johnson's first touchdown pass made it 21-3. Saints coach Tom Fears looked concerned, but he must have done something to the Saints because the tide of the game suddenly turned. Down by 11 at the half, New Orleans closed to within 4 on a bruising run by Randy Schultz. The teams traded field goals in the fourth quarter. Wade Trainum's three-pointer made it 24-20 Falcons with less than 4 minutes to play. Billy Kilmer led his team downfield to the Falcons' 17. But here a Falcon victory seemed to be assured when Ken Reeves made a leaping interception in the end zone. It was all over. But was it? An official had detected defensive interference on a Falcon defender. The Saints received that proverbial second chance. The rest was history. Atlanta had seen another victory grasped from its arms on one key play. But all who witnessed the emotion-packed game knew that the Battle of the South would go on for years to come. The The Falcons' most rewarding Sunday came on October 29th in Atlanta. This was the day that the scoreboard would finally justify the hard work and disappointment that comprised much of the season. It was against the Vikings that the Falcons reached the zenith of their 1967 flight. For once, the key plays would aid Atlanta, not the opposition. Randy Johnson and Tommy McDonald sandwiched 2 touchdowns around Tommy Nobis's first interception, and Atlanta took a 14-0 lead in the second quarter. Thanks to a fumble, the Vikings came back but still trailed at halftime. Trailing 14-10, the Vikings were driving for the go-ahead touchdown late in the third quarter. And then it happened. From flat on his back, Tommy Nobis somehow had gotten the football, raised himself up, and rambled 41 yards to a touchdown in the Falcons' first and only victory of the year. The Vikings scored again, but it was not enough to deny Atlanta a 21-20 upset win and its finest hour of 1967. Yes, the second flight of the Falcon was a bumpy, turbulent one, and playing in the toughest division in the league with the Rams and the Colts did not make it any easier. However, the Falcons have still accomplished much. Their 2-year total of 4 victories equal the Cowboys' total in their first 2 years. And with top draft picks like Claude Humphrey and Carlton Dabney, the Falcons should improve in 1968. In any event, you will be assured of seeing exciting football action. So for 1968 ticket information, write Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta, Georgia, or call 688-8684.